Hiyori Minagi fished away from everyone and thought about her dad, who passed away. After this ordeal, she became a very private person. She didn't want to have anything to do with anyone. People around her come up to her, but she doesn't like it. She tries to show with her appearance that she does not want to talk to anyone. Suddenly Hiyori meets a girl named Koharu Minagi. Koharu is a very sociable girl. She was very positive. If you compare Hiyori and Koharu, it will seem that they are opposite personalities. They looked at each other awkwardly, and then it became clear that Koharu would not leave Hiyori alone, despite Hiyori's desire to be alone. From the beginning of their conversation, they became very close friends. They talked for a very long time. They had a common theme: fishing. Hiyori had a lot of experience in fishing, plus she could cook fish in such a way that people couldn't stop eating. After chatting, Koharu learns about her experience and immediately asks Hiyori to teach her how to fish. The girls liked this activity very much, as it is a very pleasant pastime. You forget about all your problems, you are alone with yourself. The girls looked at the time. They were surprised that the time flew by so quickly. They ate the fish they caught. Hiyori and Koharu were about to say goodbye, but then it becomes clear that Hiyori's mom and Koharu's dad wanted to have dinner together. The girls, who really like to communicate with each other, realized that from now on it can be said that they are sisters. It was an amazing coincidence. It made them very happy, because it meant that their communication would only develop, and they would become more and more dear to each other, as if they were a family. This is what our main character lacked. Summer is over, which means school days are starting again. Koharu and Hiyori had to go to high school. The girls really wanted to get into the same class, but, unfortunately, this did not happen. But none of the girls despaired, although at first it was difficult to adapt to new people, especially Hiyori. She is a very reserved girl who is afraid to talk to strangers, while Koharu, on the contrary, is a joyful, positive girl who is open to new communication. But fortunately for Hiyori, a girl got into her class, with whom they communicated well in childhood due to the fact that their fathers were very fond of fishing and constantly fished together. This is Koi Yoshinaga. Of course, Hiyori immediately had a desire to introduce his old girlfriend to a new one. And their acquaintance went well. Koi quickly became friends with Koharu and the trio began to spend a lot of time together. Since Koharu knows very little about Hiyori, Hiyori decided to show her her favorite childhood places where she spent a lot of time. It was a lighthouse that her dad used to take her to, and this place meant a lot to Hiyori. Before meeting Koharu, she thought that now she would be alone for the rest of her life and that she would never have the same close person as her father. But when she met Koharu, everything changed. Now Hiyori did not feel alone. But, unfortunately, everything does not end with the loss of Hiyori. Koharu also lost people close to her in her childhood, namely her mother and younger brother. But Koharu understands that there is no need to despair, because the past cannot be returned, and besides, she has a sister, Hiyori. And in order to get rid of longing and bad mood, three friends decided to go to nature, where the girls could get to know each other even better. When it started to rain, the fishing had to be suspended, so the girls went to dinner, where they had a great time with their loved ones and with their parents at Koi. The vacation is over, and new events are just beginning. It's Koi's birthday, so I had to come up with a gift. She was only 16 years old, but she already worked very hard, even more than her father, which she clearly did not like. She believed that he was not interested in anything other than fishing and that he did not even know how to properly congratulate, because she had a childhood memory in which her father left her alone in the rain, which frightened the girl very much. In a word, she did not respect him as much as her mother. But mom works in a very large company and therefore she is not at home all the time, because of which Koi could not spend very much time with her. But Koi did not hold a grudge against her, but with dad it was the other way around, and mom felt this dislike for her father, so mom decided to talk to her daughter and explain that thanks to her father she could work in this company. This dialogue was beneficial, because after it Koi reconsidered her attitude towards her father and she gained understanding and respect for him. But don't forget that it's Koi's birthday, and this was a great occasion to make a party. A very large number of guests came to it, and, of course, Koharu and Hiyori had an obvious question: where did so much finance come from? The answer was clear: work. Two girlfriends did not want to lag behind Koi in this regard and also decided to get a job. Their choice immediately fell to work in a cafe, where the girls were in two different positions, Koharu cook, Hiyori waiter, but the girls were not satisfied with their profession, they wanted to change, which they were refused by the director of the cafe. They had to put up with it. But do not forget about the rest, and so the girls decided to go to the open sea with their new girlfriends Ichika Fukumoto and Futaba Fukumoto. Their time was wonderful, When suddenly the secret about Futaba is revealed, she did not like to talk about her hobby of fishing, because her classmates did not understand her, who constantly mocked her because of her hobby. It was also a misunderstanding that Futaba always liked to spend more time with the boys and play their games instead of spending time with the girls. Hiyori and Kohara tried to explain to her that this is normal and nothing to be ashamed of and that there is nothing wrong with it. And Futaba realized that people can have completely different hobbies and you should not be shy about it, but on the contrary, you need to look for people with the same hobbies. And since Hiyori and Futaba were very similar in character and interests, the girls were quickly able to find a common language and become friends. At that moment, Kohara had a joyful event. She had the very first catch in her life. This ended their wonderful trip to the open sea, and the rest of the joyful events were waiting for them ahead, because the summer holidays begin, which became another reason to organize fishing. This time it was a place in the mountains. After catching the fish, the girls decided that he would cook it for Hiyori and Kohara's mom and dad's wedding dinner, since they have been together for several months, and they did not have a wedding. The newlyweds really liked the surprise of the girls. It turned out very atmospheric. Then the girls decided to go to visit their grandparents. Grandmother was very talkative and positive. A complete copy of Kohara. Grandfather, on the contrary, was silent, which very much resembled Hiyori. Hiyori wanted to unwind, so taking Kohara with her, they went fishing again. Their fishing trip ended quickly due to the rain and they had to quickly run home as Kohara forgot her raincoat, which could easily make her sick later on. What eventually happened was that she caught a cold. But Kohara's family did not leave her. They began to treat her by preparing food that would quickly help her recover. Even her dad came, even though he had a job. Due to illness, the girl had little strength, and she constantly slept to restore them. And during the rest, the girl had a dream where her mother and younger brother were, who looked after her in childhood, when she was sick. Her dream was interrupted by Hiyori, who brought her delicious broth. The girls understood that due to Kohara's illness, they would not be able to attend the upcoming festival and have plenty of fun. But do not despair, because the girls came up with another entertainment for themselves. The three of them decided to go on a trip without their parents, which, of course, their parents did not like. The father of Kohara and Hiyori was especially outraged, because he was very worried about the girls. But they were able to persuade their father into this adventure, and a day later the girls went to the tourist base, where there was a small, cozy house in which they would live during their trip. Their night was restless, because the girls told each other scary stories, because of which the Trinity was then afraid to fall asleep. But the bad is behind. Morning has come, and later school time, the girls ended their carefree time. And according to the tradition of the beginning of the school year, it was necessary to arrange a school festival. Hiyori's class decided that they would make a Japanese-style cafe, with Hiyori herself serving as the waiter and Koi as the chef. During this time, Kohara's class decided they were going to do something scary, a creepy room with creepy costumes. And, unfortunately, no one wanted to come to such a terrible room, but the cafe at Hiyori was doing well. The girl was able to sell absolutely everything. And now, a new day has come, where the girls again went fishing, but it was already a full complement. There was our Trinity, Ichika, and Futaba. Even the parents joined such an event. Also present was Futaba's best friend, Aiko Ninomiya, who was very worried about their communication lately. She was afraid that Hiyori would replace her in her friendship with Futaba, and Futaba would become uninteresting to communicate with her. But Koi calms her down, telling her that their friendship won't end just because Futaba hangs out with Hiyori, and instead, you should be happy for your friend. Koi was able to easily understand Aiko's feelings because, as a child, Koi also worried that her association with Hiyori would eventually fade away, but that didn't happen. Here comes the long-awaited event, Kohara's birthday. Absolutely everyone came to congratulate her, everyone gave her gifts, ate wonderful food, but then Kohara's mood deteriorates sharply, because she realizes that Hiyori did not give her anything. It is further revealed that Hiyori was simply embarrassed about her gift because she considered it a trifle compared to others. But Hiyori was very wrong, because for Kohara such a gift from her sister was the most wonderful, and the girls ran happily to choose photos for this album, which will be on the front page of this meaningful gift.